Slosh Talk.
WGOB TV is on the air. We are the Grills of Booze, and this is Slosh Talk.
That's right.
Slosh.
And if you're not familiar, we've been drinking.
Yeah, it's what we kind of do. We based on what people have been telling us a little bit, like, hey, can't you just focus on the beers? So we focus on beers in our main show, and then this is kind of like now our secondary show where we talk about all kinds of other shit.
And we're already fucked up.
And we drink a beer. So we're going to crack a beer. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Tonight we're going to drink the Imperial India Pale Ale from Magnify Brewing in Fairfield, New Jersey. It's called It's All Relative.
What the fuck?
Pay no attention to that half of the couch. Imperial India Pale Ale. It's all relative. Magnify Brewing, 8% ABV, and a 1 pint. So we're gonna crack it. Jay apparently is gonna leave.
I just want to show the people. We've already been drinking.
All right, let's get a move on.
Slosh Talk's in full effect, bitches.
Crack
was
and
that?
pour, crack
What
and
was
pour.
You had a Beyonce.
Oh, it
I've
smells
been
delicious.
drinking.
Crack
I've
and
been
pour.
drinking.
Woo!
How do you want to start? I mean,
that was
should
an
we start in
aggressive-
the world of sports, the world in. How do you want to start?
Let's start with what's feeling good, man.
I don't know. That was aggressive pour, though.
What's
Like
feeling good for you?
Was that too much?
that was aggressive pour, though.
Was that too much?
You know, kind of like how GSP punched the shit out of Bisping.
That's
right
where
in
we're starting.
the fucking mouth.
Yeah, buddy. GSP come in the house.
I mean, I did call it, right?
I'm good. I'm all right. I'm tight.
I remember Jay. You know, Jay was talking all that shit. You know.
Good lady.
GSP has
smells
been
good. Smells good.
Bisping's. I mean, not Bisping. GSP's been out for a while. He didn't look good in last fight. That
News
Yeah.
bulletin. He has failed a steroids drug test. Oh my God!
bullshit.
He didn't know. GSP.
Wait.
I thought for sure. No, he didn't.
There's the rumor out right now
Listen,
that he failed it. Whoa!
There's a
Whoa,
rumor that Chris takes
whoa,
performance-enhancing drugs, but there's nothing to
Whoa,
prove
whoa,
that.
whoa,
I don't
whoa,
think
whoa,
that.
whoa! That's like me accusing
Listen.
somebody who's never been caught using steroids. Has he
Listen.
ever?
Was it?
Oh.
Listen.
Was it? Random?
Has he ever failed the test?
Was it random?
go.
GSP.
No.
Don't be wrong. Don't be wrong, Frank.
I haven't
Has he
recalled-
ever failed the test?
No, I think he did. I don't think he. I
Yup.
don't
And he
think
blamed it
failed
on
for
fucking
perform-
creatine.
Well,
No,
possible.
the test that he failed, I don't think it was performance-enhancing, was it? I think it was recreational drugs that he failed, wasn't it?
No, he failed a performance enhancing. John Jones failed a recreational drug, but he blamed it on creatine and dick pills. But we're not talking about that. No, that's for real.
how many
That's for
athletes
real.
blame it on creatine?
He
though?
blamed it on
Seriously.
creatine
Seriously.
because of the
the effects.
no. It's like Terexidol or something like that. Joe Rogan was talking about it on his podcast. He failed because they cut
Oh, that's
coke.
good.
They cut
That's
coke.
very good,
yeah.
They cut coke with creatine that
Yeah.
will pop you because it has Turinabol in your creatine. They cut coke with creatine and not even that.
Is
The
this-
dick pills.
is this a
Look.
Am I learning?
Wait,
Am I
wait.
Look,
learning?
watch.
This sounds like an Eminem
Watch.
freestyle.
Bro,
Creatine.
they cut-
across
No,
creatine.
but I'm dropping
I'm
the knowledge bomb.
Ah.
They cut coke with
I'ma stop.
creatine that has Turinabol in it, so that would pop him. But that's not it.
The
Because John
capillaries-
Bone Jones is doing
capillaries.
coke, he has to do dick pills, but the dick pills have Clomid in it.
Pills.
Clomid is an estrogen
Fertility
dropper, which
drug.
raises your
It's a
testosterone,
fertility
and it'll pop
drug.
for that anyway. What
right.
we're talking about is GSP, who actually failed in the past, has failed the performance-enhancing drugs, not like John Bone's doing
Doesn't
coke.
that sound like a freestyle?
Yeah.
He has failed in the past, so it's not like I'm saying,
Who you talking
well,
about, John Bon
that's
Jones?
like accusing Bill Cosby of rape.
Wait,
He's
wait.
been accused of it before.
GSP.
Who are you talking about? GSP or John Bon
GSP.
Jones?
Okay.
But I'm making the connotation of the fact that I'm telling you, the dude has failed in the past,
Okay.
so it's
All
not
right.
out of the
Okay.
realm.
Wait.
Okay.
All right. Now that he's,
Hold on. But
Now that
is
you said
GSP
that-
better than Michael Bisping?
Of course.
Okay.
Jinx, man, shut up.
Next
Because-
topic.
Jinx.
What do we got next?
Jinx,
What do we
man,
got
shut
next?
up.
What do we got next?
listen.
No, listen.
Wait.
Wait.
How much time
Can
we
we
got?
wait?
Can we
Before
say
we-
Frank likes to use this broad stroked paintbrush and say that I was fucking Michael? I've never liked Michael Bisping.
I fucking hate
One, his
Bisping.
fights are boring. He's not a good person in my eyes. He's an ass, he's a cocky prick. But GSP's last 3 fights, you're like, dude, you boring son of a bitch.
It don't matter. He's always been kind of a boring fighter because he's a cautious fighter.
Well, Frank is a boxing guy,
That's
so he likes
Mayweather
boring
syndrome.
fighters.
That's Mayweather syndrome. That's Mayweather syndrome.
Defensive
He's
I
boxing.
like
punch
boxing,
drunk.
so yeah.
Yeah, but wait. But Jay,
I have a
Punch
respect
drunk.
for boring
Show him that
fighters.
left-
I like
show him
boxing.
that- Show him that left hook to Bisping's face, though.
Wait. Can you show him?
You don't even need that. Just show the fucking
Mayweather-
rear
The
naked.
moment-
Mayweather
fucked
hoping that
up.
Floyd that Connor puts it in his butt.
Defensive boxer syndrome. Let's move on. What do we got next?
Yo, so that's squash because look,
all right. Let's.
I thought
Wasn't that important?
skill versus skill. What did GSP take? 4 years off
And he still beat Bisping.
because of performance enhancing drugs.
It don't fucking matter. Listen, I'm not gonna get into this.
Why do you throw your hands up like he's never been caught?
No, but he's not on.
He's-
Because they test him after it. Have you heard anything about him being on performance?
Nothing.
enhancing?
Yes, there's a rumor right now.
There's a rumor.
Buddy, if you Google
called-
GSP right now, it's not going to say he won the fight because of performance enhancing
Actually,
drugs.
there is
No,
one.
there's
and
not.
it's
No.
because I did Google it in preparation for this.
Test booster website that
I
tries to sell
saw
their
one.
pills.
Yeah, no, you're right. I saw one website that saw that. Everybody else is just saying how impressive a win it was. You know,
Yeah.
blah, 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 celebrating him. Here comes fucking Captain. I hate everybody. Jay.
Captain Google face.
Captain Google face.
We don't have time for Google, so
That's a fuck him.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna
So-
find the article that says he's a
so
bitch and he's
Drug
on drugs.
cheats and killers that forced GSP out of the octagon.
You say butt cheeks?
2017 recently, GSP in his fight versus Bisping could possibly test positive for performance-enhancing drugs. That's right now being Googled. That's the third site that I pulled up.
it's
But
the
let me
first
tell you,
site,
you
first
asked the
site.
question. If I Googled it right now, what would pop up? It's not like I'm accusing somebody who's never been caught before. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You're acting like it's a foregone conclusion that I'm crazy thinking about that. It's not. It's a possibility, so at least give me that it's a possibility.
So what you're saying is that GSP has an awfully hot coffee pot. Should he drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not.
At least give me the possibility that it's a possibility.
that was great. All right.
Good one, Doug.
Do I get that?
Hey, it's possible.
Hey.
It's possible that is possible. Always is possible.
It's possible we're done talking about this topic.
Okay,
Seriously.
but if you let's time warp for a second. Okay,
Or not.
what's more exciting? The next fight. Is it GSP Connor or is it
No.
GSP Woodley?
That's an excellent call.
Or is it
All right,
GSP Woodley?
Let's squash this right away. The whole nonsense fucking talk about, hey, what about GSP and Connor? Two things. First of all, GSP and
Too
Connor
big.
are not going to cut the amount of weight. Well,
Yeah.
Connor's not going to
Yeah,
put on
yeah.
the amount of weight, and GSP is not going to cut the amount of weight.
How about Woodley?
Hold on, I'm not done. For that to be an actual fight. Second of all, whatever the fuck you think of Connor, who cares? Whatever you think of Connor, he's a smart businessman. Connor wants nothing to do with GSP.
At all.
He would
He's never
destroy
in a
him right
million
now.
years going to fight
Who would destroy who?
GSP.
Connor would destroy GSP
You're
right
out
now.
of your
No,
fucking
no
mind,
way,
man.
no
Well,
way.
keep in
Come
mind
on.
that this is
Mind
what,
you-
this is what Jay does to get conversation going.
He would destroy GSP right now. He would destroy GSP right now.
You're
Conor
out of your
McGregor
fucking mind.
Fight
is one of the
GSP. I
smartest-
don't think you would fight him.
Conor McGregor is one of the smartest businessmen on the planet, and there's no fucking
Yeah, that's why he hasn't
chance.
three-peated Diaz. He wasn't. He was one of the.
That's why he-
Why would he 3-peat
Diaz
Diaz?
will be able to fuck up the mystique.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Why would he 3-peat?
That's why.
Connor's making the money he's making.
Yeah.
He's got the publicity he's making.
Okay,
the
so you're
promotion
saying
he's making.
Woodley's a possible fight?
Who for who?
GSP.
No, GSP. Sure, I'm talking about Connor. Connor's next fight is like Tim Jones,
Yeah.
whoever the fuck his name.
Nobody
They already
cares.
announced
He
his next
can't.
fight.
He doesn't
Huh?
care who his
He
next
can't
fight
do a
is.
lower level.
They already announced his fight. His fight. I forget the guy's name. The guy's name is like Tommy Johnson.
He won't
Or
do
whatever the
that.
fuck.
It'll have to be like a Aldo or
Tommy
something.
Johnson.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
Dana
it doesn't
already announced
matter.
what the fight
Yeah.
is. The guy does still work for Dana White. Forget the fact that he's jumping over cages at Bellator and going into business for himself.
There's
he does have
no
a company
fucking
that
way
he's
in
con-
hell he fights a guy that's not upper echelon.
And when he makes
Hey,
100
well-
million, 100 million his last fight against Mayweather, you think
If
he
we
cares
have
who
the
he
time,
fights
we
next?
can pause this and look. The fight has been announced, and I'm telling you, it's like John Smith.
Talk amongst yourselves.
No, we can't.
Forget what Conor does. Conor is still a contracted UFC fighter. He still works for Dana White, and
Yeah.
Dana White could be like, "Hey, you're defending your belt against this guy," and that's the fight.
And he
Yeah,
is a
pretty
smart
much.
businessman. He really is. I agree 100%.
Conor is never going to fight GSP in a million years. First
No.
of all, GSP is going to have to lose what 20 pounds. Conor's going to have to
Yeah.
gain 20 pounds.
It's not in the weight class. Number
doesn't
one.
make any sense.
doesn't make
and
sense.
what for what?
And he's gonna get killed.
He's a
in these fights.
two-division champion. They stripped him of a belt, but he's a two-division champion. He's the most recognizable fighter in UFC right now.
Who we talking about? Oh, right now.
Conor.
Connor.
And
There's nothing in it for
No,
Connor.
I would argue he's the most recognizable fighter. I mean,
No, I
who-
think
who
he-
else?
I think he is.
Brock Lesnar.
And Chuck Liddell, those whole
Les-
school,
Lesnar's
Tito Ortiz.
W-
Would you
WWE.
argue? Would you
Tito
say that Chuck
Ortiz,
Liddell is a more recognizable fighter than
Absolutely,
Conor?
especially when it comes to the history
think
of
so?
UFC. The history of
No
UFC,
chance.
Well,
absolutely.
Shamrock. Well,
In the history
Shamrock.
of
What about
UFC?
Ken
No
Shamrock?
chance, because
He's gotta be
it's
there.
bigger. Right? Ken Shamrock maybe,
Maybe.
but it's bigger. I would give you.
Gracie?
You know what? I would give
You
you
mean Gracie?
maybe
Like,
Hoist Gracie,
Hoist
maybe
Gracie.
Ken
No?
Shamrock.
Yeah.
But in UFC today, is a bigger sport.
I agree with that.
Is a bigger sport than when Chuck Liddell was in it. So if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
say that Conor McGregor is the best fighter or the most recognizable fighter now, then he's bigger than Chuck Liddell was.
Maybe, yeah.
He's the biggest fighter now, no question.
Well, yeah,
on
he
that.
he
No
crossed
question.
he crossed platforms into boxing too, so it kind of
Yeah.
he got a lot of notoriety.
Oh, wouldn't you for 100 mil or whatever he made? I mean,
Doesn't
come on.
matter.
Come on.
Conor, here's the thing. If I'm Conor, I fight one more fight against this fucking nobody, whoever Dana has lined up for him.
Yeah.
You beat his ass and just retire, bro. Just get out.
Yeah, you don't
Because
need
you're
to
gonna
fight
have your
anymore.
WrestleMania at some point. He's
They're
gonna.
saying online, Dana White says Conor McGregor's next fight's Tony Ferguson.
Okay, what did I say? Tony Johnson.
Tony
I mean-
Ferguson is not a lower level anything. Tony Ferguson is a fucking monster.
Okay.
What's Tony Ferguson's record?
Okay, so
He's
here
not.
we go. Here we go. Right on this camera now. Jay is saying that Tony Ferguson's going to win. So fine.
Absolutely not.
So Tony
But
Ferguson's
you're
gonna be-
saying he's not a monster on camera.
Tony Ferguson is he's not garbage, but he's not.
This fucking guy. Anybody watch Tony Ferguson fight?
I mean, I
haven't
see
seen-
most
I haven't,
UFC.
Come
fights.
on, brother. He's a fucking problem.
Buddy, I watch almost all Bellator and UFC.
He's a
fights.
problem. Tony
I'm not
Ferguson's
saying
a
he's
problem.
not good, but he's not. If you're going to talk about an upper echelon fighter, you're going to talk about Tony Ferguson. Are you serious?
No.
You want to talk about?
Here's what you do: go to the average UFC or MMA fan on the street. Ask them who Tony Ferguson is. Are they going to know who it is?
Yeah.
No. Are they going to know who GSP is? yes.
Are
they going to know who
John Jones?
Bisping is? Me.
John
Jones.
Maybe
yes.
the best ever if he
Connor,
kept his head
yes.
clean.
Brock, yes. Hey, who is fucking John Ferguson, whatever his name is?
Tony Ferguson.
They're gonna be like,
Exactly.
I
Because
don't
even
know.
though that's
Is
a
that a
point, though.
guy?
That's a point. You're saying
Yeah.
John. You don't even know because that's a point.
Does that count as an upper echelon fight to you?
Absolutely.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
Absolutely.
This
Now,
guy.
I'm
also
not
likes
saying
Great
he'll win.
Gorilla.
I'm saying Tony Ferguson's a fucking badass. He is.
Respectable.
He's a journeyman. He's a good, respectable
Tony
journeyman
Ferguson
fighter.
will whip Eddie Alvarez's ass.
He's a Ryan.
Tony
Fitzpatrick.
Ferguson will whip Jose Aldo's ass. Tony Ferguson will beat Diaz's ass.
He's
No
the Josh
chance.
McCown
No
of MMA.
No chance.
He's a journeyman.
Wow.
Listen,
Tony
Aldo
Ferguson
beats
is not an
Ferguson.
upper echelon fighter.
And Diaz beats Ferguson. They both beat.
Diaz
Ferguson.
does not beat Ferguson.
Stop it. Aren't you the same guy that said that Diaz beats the fuck out of Conor?
Who won the first fight?
Well, they split. Did Conor not win the second fight?
Did they split the first fight?
No, they didn't. But Diaz did win.
No, dickhead.
Diaz won the first
They
fight,
fought
dickhead.
twice.
But Diaz won the first fight is what I'm question.
Who won the
won the
second?
second
Okay,
fight.
who won the second fight?
By judges fucking cards? Connor. But you didn't say Diaz won that fight?
Diaz won.
Which
the first
fight? Which fight? Which fight?
Fight number 2, watching it, you didn't say Diaz got the
No.
better of it?
I thought it was even. I thought it was gonna be a draw. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be a
You
draw.
said that Diaz inched it out. You even said it, bro. You said they gave it to. You said it. They gave it to Connor because it has to be for a third. Come on, bro.
No, yeah, but I thought it was an even fight. So
But
yeah, so they
Diaz
gave
inched
to
it out
Diaz
in
whooped
your
his
eyes.
ass the first fight.
in the second
All right,
fight.
And he
if
made
I
a
said
reputable fight.
Diaz inched it out, me personally, I thought it was even. So if I said Diaz inched it out, great.
We talked about that.
Okay,
You were
so
like,
great.
Diaz
So I
inched
thought
that one
Diaz
out.
inched it out, but it's close enough that Conor could have won. So great. I thought it was even. So they
No,
give it to
but-
Diaz.
but-
I can't be mad at him
and
for
this
giving it to Conor or Diaz, whichever.
Who cares? And meanwhile, you still defending him against Mayweather. How the fuck?
Yeah, you gotta pick a fucking
fuck?
side,
No,
bro.
no. Conor versus Mayweather. One picture. Yeah, what is he trying to get him to butt fuck him? What is this? Back turn, bent over.
Wait, did we
McGregor's
do a
thing.
green screen for Slosh Talk? I didn't think we did.
We're doing it for this
Oh,
one.
right.
Bent over, trying to get him to butt fuck him.
Not to mention.
Yo,
I said.
but he's talking. He's like, I'll beat him in a rematch. Never gonna happen.
I said.
Yeah,
I
right.
said before the fight, the professional boxer is
Give me
gonna
two
let him-
times and a Ric Flair.
Is going to let him throw as many punches as he wants, wear him down, and he's going to kill him. And that's what happened.
Speaking
All
of
right,
Ric Flair,
moving on.
Speaking of Ric Flair, so Chris and I had an opportunity to watch the 30 for 30 Nature Boy. They
Watched
call
it.
it.
I watched it.
Hold on. If you ever watch 30 for 30s, ESPN does a great job with their documentaries. Man, they do an amazing
This
job.
one's especially good.
I had heard about it, but I had it on my DVR. I didn't think it was a big deal. Chris watched it, and Chris was like, "Man, you gotta watch it." So I watched it. Fucking amazing. So I told
Was
him,
he wheeling and dealing?
"Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
I
You didn't have a chance to see it?
I really didn't see the whole thing. I can't
Did you
lie.
watch the whole thing?"
Yeah, I did.
I caught clips of it.
So
I didn't
good.
have time.
I made Frank watch it because Frank is not a wrestling guy.
But he won't get the true mystique of it though if he's not.
No, but this
No,
is
no, no.
this is the era of
This was
wrestling
the
that I
whole
used to
thing, man.
watch.
This is why I
Okay.
wanted.
Okay.
This
This
is
is the era of wrestling that I
This
used
is
to watch.
important because Chris and I can talk about it. Chris and I are wrestling guys.
Yep.
So I thought it was important to have at least one guy who isn't a wrestling guy, which is Frank's in this case.
The impartial guy.
Watch it. And so, Frank, let's start with you. First of all, what did you think of the documentary just as a documentary? Forget the content. What did you think
Okay.
as the documentary?
I thought it was pretty strong, man. It was something like it was very like heart touching in a way because he really engulfed himself in the wrestling business, and it took over him completely.
Absolutely.
And like he lived it till this fucking day. Like you can tell, like
Even
that's
still.
all he cares
He
about.
still doesn't want to give it up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now
No,
he's
right now he's
and
still
even
upset.
right now he's vicariously living it through his daughter.
I don't think he.
Which is
I don't think he knows the
fucking-
difference between himself
He
and
is-
the Nature Boy.
This
He
he
does not
engulfed
stop.
that image so
No,
much.
you're right.
That he is no longer.
He's
what-
lost himself.
Richard, what is his original?
Richard Fleer.
Fleer.
Yeah, but he doesn't even know Richard Fleer. He never
No,
got
he-
to
yeah,
know.
yeah.
He
Right.
never got to know
Right.
himself. That's
Yeah.
the
Exactly,
whole,
and that's
that's
like-
the point.
And it's crazy when you start
His
like,
whole life he lived in this.
and it's crazy because
because
when you start seeing like Shawn Michaels talking about him and how he's like,
One of the greatest
you can
ever
see
do
it
it.
in him.
and that's a hardcore wrestlers you can get. Shawn
Yeah.
Michaels saying
Oh, yeah.
he doesn't
Shawn
know how to
Michaels
stop.
and even the Undertaker, he's like looking up to him like,
We got 8.
this guy lived this. This is who he is as
Yeah.
a person. Like,
Yeah.
this is all he knows.
No.
Yeah.
So
And
here's
he-
the thing. Let me ask you, as a non-wrestling fan, do you watch that and do you think any different about pro wrestling? And let me ask you,
Yes.
the reason I ask you is because they show clips of how much of an influence this dude has on real sports.
On
So
pop
like,
culture.
this
Oh,
guy's
absolutely.
a pro. Hold
Yeah.
on, this guy's a pro wrestling,
Football
pro
teams.
wrestler,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they show you huddles of football players doing the whole thing.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm a
Wheeling
diamond ring wearing.
Limousine
stealing,
driving, jet
wheeling,
flying.
dealing, limousine riding, jet flying. Son of a gun, I'm having a hard time keeping these alligators down. Give me 2 times in a Ric Flair, clap, clap, woo! And
Yeah.
like.
I mean, I get
the,
it.
The effect that this dude has,
Yeah.
he's a pro wrestler,
On
which
pop
you
culture.
think is pro wrestling is lame, which is fine.
It's
I
polarized.
didn't
But
say
here's- no,
no,
you
no,
do.
no, no.
No, but
no,
at,
hold on, hold on,
at
hold on,
his
hold on.
time, nobody thought it was lame.
Hold on. He's a pro wrestler, and he's a pro wrestler who, arguably, his highest point was in the '80s,
Oh, of course.
and the dude is still here's
Relevant.
20, 25, 30-year-old guys
Yeah.
that still look to this dude.
Emulate this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
We
The-
didn't even watch him live. Like
the
that.
influence that he's had in pop
Yeah.
culture is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You're misconstruing how I feel about wrestling. I don't like it as much now, and it's not that I don't like it.
Neither do I.
It's just different. To me,
It's
it's like
become more of a soap opera lately.
my
It's
only
always soap
pli-
opera
My
is.
only
No,
blight,
it's more
my
so
only,
lately. More
It's
so
just,
lately.
I don't know
Listen,
if it's worse
no, like I was saying,
writing.
look,
In the 80s,
Worse
there's no
writing
such
now?
thing as kayfabe. They call it kayfabe, which means that the audience is aware of what it is. So
Right.
the audience.
In
That's
the
why he's
80s,
like,
it could have been
choreography.
real.
The problem is fucking WCW in the
Yeah.
90s when they did shit where like Kevin Nash would come out and be like, you know, Goldberg is supposed to go over me, but I'm not gonna lay down and do the job.
Yeah, you're
Like,
right. You're right.
It's that
Yeah,
bullshit where
yeah.
it's like, hey,
Yeah.
this is fake, but you have to pretend like this is real. So
Yeah.
it's
In
called
the
breaking.
80s, there was no
it's
mystique.
breaking
You're right.
kayfabe.
It was
in
more
the
mystique.
80s, when Ric Flair fucking rolled into town,
Yeah.
you thought he was coming into town to beat up Kerry Von Erich,
Yeah.
to beat up fucking Ronnie Garvin,
Yep.
to beat up your local heroes,
Right.
And like all the dudes hated him, all the women screamed for him. All the women wanted to be
Yeah.
with him. There has been nothing like Ric Flair in the history of the pro
Do
wrestling
you
business.
think
There's nothing like
WCW
him.
did that because they
I
were
wouldn't say
threatened?
nothing like him.
There's been nothing like him.
You think
like,
WCW?
completely like
Who's been like him?
In their prime,
Yeah.
No, nobody. in
Macho
their prime.
Man?
No,
Nope.
not in their prime.
No.
Wait. Well, let me rattle
ahead,
a
do
couple
your
of
thing.
names.
Yeah.
Macho Man,
Nope.
Hulk Hogan,
Nope.
Ravishing Rick Rude,
Nope.
Shawn Michaels.
Nope.
Maybe
Let me explain to you
Gorgeous
why.
George, maybe.
who?
Way back.
Ravishing
No, no,
Rick
no,
Rude
here's the
didn't
thing
have
with
ladies
Gorgeous
George.
swarming.
Gorgeous George was heading up the whole industry, but he was
Shawn Michaels.
the industry
Shawn
wasn't.
Michaels is the
No.
There
Sexy
wasn't
boy?
cable
No.
TV. There wasn't the whole thing. Gorgeous
No,
George
yeah.
was doing his thing.
Yeah.
Shawn
And
Michaels.
he was getting the booze and stuff that he was trying to get as a heel
HBK.
before it was like it was
Razor
cable.
Ramon.
Yeah.
Ric Flair took that bullshit. Ric Flair
One
took the Gorgeous
One
George
time.
thing and the Nature Boy Buddy Rogers thing, and turned it into a whole new thing for cable TV.
Yep.
Because at the same time that Vince McMahon Sr. sold it to his son Vince McMahon Jr., and he was just buying all the territories and turning it into a conglomerate, the NWA at the same time was kind of like securing the whole southern tier, and they decided, hey, we're gonna have one champion, and that champion is gonna travel around the different territories, and that was Ric Flair. So you could be like a dude in like Arkansas or whatever, and hey, every week you're seeing fucking I don't know, Wahoo McDaniel is the guy that's headlining your crowd or headlining your territory, and then for 1 week a year, here comes the fucking Nature Boy.
Yeah.
Here comes
then-
the Nature Boy Ric Flair with the gigantic gold belt. He's the NWA heavyweight champion, and like people would sell out the arena.
But they
And
didn't
by-
do
and by
that.
the- and by the way, Ric
But
Flair.
you say that like they didn't do that for Macho Man, or they didn't do that for Hulk Hogan,
but you
or
understand-
he
you
was
don't
like-
understand.
he
It's
was
just-
Shawn
part of
Michaels.
that.
No, no,
Kinda
but here's
stuff.
what you don't understand: is if you watch the documentary, it would explain it. It's a completely different environment. It's comic books.
yeah.
So Hulk
gotta watch it,
Hogan,
you gotta
Macho
watch
Man,
it.
whatever. They were the cartoon characters, the rock and wrestling.
Hulk Hogan was
blah,
a
blah, blah,
cartoon
blah.
guy. It wasn't the
Hulk
same.
Hogan in
Yeah.
the documentary says Ric Flair's a million
Whole
times better than
different
me.
level.
It's not even.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
even
yeah.
close. Ric Flair's
Yeah.
a million times better than me. Ric Flair, in the NWA, Ric Flair ruled the fucking South.
Yeah.
And I can speak from my own personal opinion in the Norfolk Scope because I grew up 5 minutes from the Norfolk Scope. I saw Ric Flair live and in person, like one of these moves, like Hey, nice to meet you, kid. Well, my mom was selling T-shirts in the Norfolk Scope because that's the only way we could afford to go to the wrestling events. The dude was as close as I had ever come to a superhero when I was a kid. There was nothing like him in the world. And the dude would enter the ring, fucking that theme from 2001 would play. He'd come out with the ropes. He'd hit the ring. He would let dudes beat him up.
But
and he would
Sean
make,
didn't have that.
He'd always
Sell
come
it.
back.
Hold
No,
on.
Sean
Did
didn't.
He would
Brett
let
have
dude-
that?
No,
Not
no,
on the
but
same
here's the
level.
thing.
Not on the
He
same
would
level.
let. Have you ever heard of the Italian Stallion? The guy wrestled in the NWA in the '80s, named the Italian Stallion. Ric Flair made that dude look like he was a main event superstar at a house show in Norfolk, Virginia, with no cameras on, where some fucking 8-year-old kid is sitting in the third row watching it happen. I thought there's a chance the Italian Stallion could beat Ric Flair for the heavyweight title because that's what Ric Flair did.
His opponent said
Ric
in the
Flair,
documentary.
you would
But-
punch Ric Flair, and he would flip over. He'd
But
go
in
to the
fairness-
top rope.
You have a dog in the fight.
What do you mean?
You were that kid there, physically starstruck and in love with the mystique of Ric Flair.
No
No,
question.
what-
I am
But
1,000%
from an outside entity that didn't actually see it as a child. You go, all right, Ric Flair was there,
The
but in
doc-
our eyes,
Listen, the
kind of a
documentary-
Hulk Hogan was there in that realm,
all
but
his
not
opponents-
the same.
No
Not the
question.
same.
No
Not the
question.
same.
If you grew up here, no question.
But,
Hulk
but
Hogan
a
was the
Shawn
guy.
Michaels growing up was like, holy crap! From being the tag team to the bad guy to the girls loved him to the good guy to the oh my god he beat Bret Hart.
His opponents all said he made me.
I feel
better.
the same
He
way-
made
Yeah.
me better.
No,
in the
listen,
documentary.
Shawn
I
Michaels
feel the
is
same
a
way
better,
seeing
Shawn
Shawn
Michaels
Michaels
is probably
fight.
a better wrestler than Ric Flair.
But Ric
No,
Flair made
I don't mean
everybody
that, though.
better. Everybody.
But I
But
mean
Ric
like
Flair-
mystique and all.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is that Ric Flair has a more lasting
Yep.
impression on society than Shawn Michaels does.
Yep.
If you think about
yes.
pro wrestling and championships
Yes.
and
Wrestlers
Shawn Michaels,
today-
Shawn Michaels'
NFL
reach
guys
of
and NBA guys. And,
Shawn
and
Michaels
Major
didn't
League Baseball
influence
guys
pop
doing their
culture.
thing.
Ric
They're
Flair
not thinking
did.
about Shawn Michaels.
Every
they're thinking about Ric
wrestler
Flair.
today
Yeah, he
says,
didn't
I
influence pop
emulate
culture, Ric Flair did.
Every wrestler today
Right.
says that.
No, but outside of wrestling, he is right.
Yeah.
Sean didn't
Oh,
influence pop culture. Ric Flair did.
Absolutely.
He did.
Absolutely.
So what's your biggest?
So when you think about,
Is
like,
there another
so
wrestler
as
that
a guy
influenced
who
pop culture?
at this point in time, as a guy who doesn't love wrestling, when you see the influence that Ric Flair has had, I mean, does it change your opinion about pro wrestling at all?
No.
You can say no.
I'm so far removed from wrestling right now that I don't think that it would pull me into it because there's nothing I can relate to right now. Maybe at this point. Okay, hand
listening.
gestures. There's nothing that really I can relate to right now in wrestling, so I don't think there's anything that will pull me back. But I can watch it. It's not something that I can be like, oh, I don't want to watch it.
No.
My
listen,
only plight.
No,
Listen,
the
my
question
only
was,
plight.
did it change your opinion on wrestling?
No, because I liked wrestling before. I've never.
You're not really
I
a
don't
wrestling
hate
fan.
wrestling. I'm not a wrestling
Now
fan.
I do.
What surprised both of you?
My only plight with wrestling.
I look at wrestling now as like
only
a
Maybe
blue
that's
blazer.
Maybe the better question is, okay, so you're not somebody that watches it now. You watched it in the past, whatever. When you see the influence of Ric Flair on the world, does that change? Like, hey, this guy had this kind of influence, and he's just a pro wrestler.
He's
Does it change
polarized.
No.
anything?
He's polarized.
No.
No, I mean, listen. I knew who he was as a person. I watched him. grow
No,
up as a
because he
kid.
couldn't do that now.
He's
If
still
Ric
in
Flair
line.
came out,
I
if Ric,
disagree.
No,
if Ric
I
Flair,
I disagree a
He's
if
still
Ric
1,000%.
Flair
still
came
about-
out
No, but
now
listen.
as a new wrestler,
Yep.
If
there
there's
is no new wrestler that
There's still
influences pop
nobody-
culture.
There's
They
still
emulate
nobody.
him big time,
Yeah.
though.
There's
But there
still
is no new
nobody-
wrestler that comes out now that influences pop culture at all.
First of all,
The mystique's
No,
gone.
no.
First of all, a quarter of the roster of the WWE, for instance, emulates Ric Flair. So let's get rid of Bobby Roode. Let's get rid of the guys that come
How
out in
about
the big
CM
ropes.
Punk on a
No,
much
no,
smaller
forget
level?
forget
No,
all
no,
the
no.
guys that come out in the big ropes.
Okay.
If you take a guy like Ric Flair, if you take a guy that comes out in the big fucking robes and the 2001
Wouldn't matter in
theme,
pop culture.
But, yeah.
But if you take that guy, I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
if he's 30 years old and he comes out right now, he still rises at the top.
As
There's
big
been-
as John Cena is,
It doesn't
did he
matter.
ever influence
Size-
pop culture?
it's
Buddy,
the impact he
Ric
had.
Flair,
the impact.
Ric Flair
Did
was
he?
in a time
Yeah.
when his biggest Road Warrior Hawk was.
Yeah,
Did,
no,
did
what
John
his biggest-
Cena influence pop culture?
Hulk Hogan and
Not
the Randy
really,
Savage.
not-
And
No,
John
but
Cena starred in his own feature films.
Not on the same
Did he
level.
influence pop
It's not-
culture?
no, but it's
because
not-
wrestling
no.
doesn't have
No.
that star power
It's
anymore.
a
No.
different level.
John
Because
Cena-
wrestling doesn't
no.
have that star power
No,
anymore.
because they already had.
The Rock
think
is the
they
last guy
The Rock,
to
yeah,
have that.
yeah.
John Cena is not even on the level as The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock was
Ric Flair is a
electrifying.
bigger star than John Cena.
Yeah. And
No,
the Rock
by far.
If you walk to like a normal person on the street, do you know Ric Flair? Do you know John Cena? Do you know Ric Flair?
And the Rock's a
If
much
Ric Flair
bigger.
came out today,
Kids,
right now,
Even the young crowd.
Ric Flair right now
Young
is a
crowd
bigger
never-
star than John Cena.
I don't know if young crowd would get Ric
The
Flair over
Rock's
John
Yeah,
Cena.
no, no,
the
because-
Rock's a bigger.
Of course they would, because it's a very simple thing. It's a guy who is bleach blonde with the big fucking glowing robes,
Yeah.
and he's the heavyweight champion of the world, and he's the best at what he does, and you hate him, and he's taking your girls, and he's got 15 women on his arm. He is going to be a star in pro wrestling right now. It doesn't matter. It's a very.
Over you can't see me. I don't know,
It doesn't
bro.
matter. No, you can't see me. Can
Cena's
be
not-
his.
Cena's
You
not
can't
the same
see me.
level.
Can be his foil.
The
That
Rock's-
could be the good guy. Ric Flair is going to be your top bad guy, and he's going to make money
I'll put it
in the
this way.
world right now.
The Rock's in between.
Right now.
If Cena's here, the
Ric
Rock's
Flair's like
here,
70 years
Flair's
old. If
here.
Ric Flair came back right now, he could make more money than
Yeah.
half the guys in the pro
I
wrestling
agree, I
world.
agree with you. I agree. What was your biggest surprise of the documentary? You two guys who watched it.
That he doesn't have AIDS.
No.
Well, that's a big surprise.
Yeah,
but
he said what was it, like
In all
12,000.
It's not even a joke.
10
That's
to
like
12,000.
he slept with so many women. I'm
10 grand.
surprised he
I'm not
hasn't caught
surprised.
something
That doesn't
serious
su-
enough to kill him.
that doesn't surprise me. He slept with
Here's
that
what
many
I'll say. What
women.
surprised me is like I never knew that whole aspect of him being super engulfed like that. Like where
Yeah.
he just like
A lot of
he
these guys
gave up
are,
on his
Frank,
own
though.
life,
A lot of
He
these
really
guys
did.
and
are.
he just
All
totally
of them
like,
did back then.
whole- but
All
the
of them
Horsemen.
did back. All of
It's
them did back
almost
then.
like
Funk,
You gotta
right?
think about it. It's
Funk.
almost
Horsemen
it's,
did.
it's like a
Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson,
it's
they
like
all
a
did.
total bipolar mentality
Yeah.
almost if you think about it.
It's,
Like
you know what it is, Frank? It's like you're larger than life.
But you
and
wouldn't
can't
see
get
that.
high.
Now,
you can't get that high.
Pro
other than
wrestling is the male soap opera, is what they call it, male soap opera. But look at a soap opera, legitimate like Days of Our Lives star. When they leave set, they're John
It's different.
Smith.
It's
they're
di-
not.
it's different.
They're not
It's
Rick
di-
the
no.
Doctor,
It's
right?
not the same.
When
No,
Ric
these
Flair
guys
left
can't
the
turn it
set
off.
and he went to dinner,
it's
he
a-
was still Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And he
Jay.
says that proudly. He goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, I bought a limousine.
Yeah.
I was flying in limousine.
Private
in
jets,
jet-
He was
jet
still
planes.
Ric Flair
Nothing.
off set.
Yeah.
He was having 15 women. He said his
You
wife,
think that's,
and you heard
His
you
wife-
think that's
wife-
healthy though?
First two wives.
His
he-
wife says in the interview that like he would come home and be like, "I can't do this," and would go out and hit the
He's
bar
just
and do
bored,
this whole
yeah.
thing
Because he was Rick.
He was
never
larger-
turned it off.
no,
he was larger
exactly
than
because
life.
he
He
was
was Ric Flair.
Flair, absolutely.
My biggest surprise, I didn't know about his whole son. I forgot that his
That
son
Reed died?
wrestled and died. That was
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Reed, and you know the thing with Reed is that Reed tried to follow his footsteps.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Charlotte,
Reed just
Charlotte
could-
came out of nowhere, by the way. Charlotte wasn't even supposed to wrestle.
right? Well, Charlotte had a full scholarship to volleyball to
Yeah.
wherever she went with for volleyball. She was a huge,
Yeah.
big time volleyball player. Reed died, and she was like, "Well, I'll just follow Reed's dreams
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Reed,
that's
like
pretty
I didn't realize how big into New Japan Pro Wrestling that
Yeah,
Reed got.
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That
We
was
got the
biggest
best of
surprise to me.
But okay,
And I didn't know
My-
Flair got up to 300 pounds. That was
just
that was crazy too,
to rephrase or shed light on what I mean by if Ric Flair came out now, would he be as big? When Ric Flair came out, because I found a different way to actually word it. When Ric Flair came out, the mystique was there. It was real.
Well, that's just it.
Yeah.
When Ric
a
Flair
different
came
era.
out,
but- yeah.
people sort of thought wrestling was fake, but the majority of people thought that when Road Warrior Hawk pile drove Ric Flair on the floor, that he was pile driving Ric Flair on the floor.
So what I mean
So
is,
it wasn't-
now
it wasn't-
knowing it's a soap opera.
He had
would
a
it work?
Michael Jordan-ish mystique.
I got to be
is what he
honest,
had.
even
He was
even
close to
that,
Jordan.
even knowing, I still think he would be bigger than
Yeah.
3/4 of the pro
He
wrestlers.
wouldn't, he wouldn't be
I
bigger than
agree.
Cena right now. Knowing
Yes,
it's
he
fake.
would. Absolutely.
He would be
not,
as
not
big as
knowing
Cena.
it's fake.
The
No
I think
Rock,
he
way.
would.
the Rock is small, is lower than Flair is. If Flair
No,
came out right
fuck
now,
no.
yeah.
Fuck
No. Here's the thing
The
with The
Rock's
Rock.
in between
No.
the two.
No. The Rock's like
The
Hogan.
Rock's
and
the biggest star in wrestling
No,
right
he's
now
not on the same
ever.
level. He's not on the same
He's
level
the biggest
Flair.
wrestling star ever.
No, he's not. But he is the biggest
Ever.
star to transition out of wrestling.
Yeah.
He's not the
Ever.
biggest wrestling star.
He's not as big as Flair was in his peak. No way.
Who's made more money?
No. He's Hogan.
You think
Hogan's
the
made
Rock,
more
Hogan.
money than Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You think the
I
Rock's
was just,
on the?
I was
Fact
just
check
about-
that. Keep
Hogan.
talking.
1,000%. What are you talking about?
Hogan.
Money that
We're
you
not
made in
talking
your
about
career
money.
of
We're
life.
The Rock has made more money outside of pro wrestling than Hogan. But if
Because
you're
of
talking
wrestling,
about-
he made that money outside, right?
No.
Fair?
Money got bigger as years went along. They didn't pay as
Fair
much
without
years ago.
without The Rock's wrestling career, he wouldn't be an actor?
I don't
Possibly.
know how to answer that because
Fair.
truthfully, while he was under contract,
He wouldn't have got the rundown without wrestling.
his movies were not great. When he left the WWE, his movies got better. So I don't
Because
know.
he was The Rock.
Really though, because
Yeah.
his roles as The Rock,
Because he's
were
not a good actor.
The Scorpion King sucked.
He's not a good actor.
His
Grid-
5 second in The Mummy 2 sucked.
Because he's
Gridiron
not a good
Gang-
actor.
Rundown was not great.
Gridiron
But he's
Gang
not a
was
good actor.
No, but I'm saying is that his best roles and his best money that he made was
lately.
outside. He was not a
Yeah,
WWE
yeah.
performer
Because
anymore.
they pushed him as Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, this was Dwayne Johnson going to an acting school and doing his thing.
How about
This was
Baller?
not the fucking
How
Rock
about
anymore.
Ballers? The show.
He
How
was-
good is that?
No, Ballers is actually good.
No, but he left
like
the
Ballers.
business
Yeah.
before he started to get roles that were like
Yeah,
meaty.
you're right.
Yeah.
When he started to do the Disney, first of all, whoever the fuck's Rock,
Tooth
whoever the
Fairy.
Rock's manager is, needs a raise. Because here's what happened: he booked the Rock in 3 Disney films or 3 kid films or whatever
Which is smart.
Tooth Fairy
in a row.
Which
Tooth
is smart.
Fairy, or Escape to Witch Mountain,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
the fuck it
right,
was,
right.
and
Smart.
something else.
Right.
So they made $1 million. That's what they're gonna make.
Yeah.
Now you have a bankable star. Now this guy gets injected into the Fast and Furious franchise, and guess what happens? The Fast and Furious franchise is the Rock's franchise somehow.
Smart, yeah.
Vin Diesel, well,
Because
Paul Walker's
he's
dead,
the
but
Rock.
Vin Diesel
Well,
and
it
everybody
doesn't
else
help that what's his name's
is
dead.
pushed. No, it's pushed to the
But-
side.
but
So
that's
now the whole
because he's
Fast-
The Rock.
Hold on, I'm not done. The whole Fast and Furious franchise now is the Rock's Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah,
So
no
much
more-
so
Yeah.
that they pushed the Fast and Furious 9 or 10
Completely
or
out.
whatever it was back. And now they're making a Hobbs movie with Jason Statham and The Rock.
Wait,
And that's why Tyrese told Rock to go fuck himself, and I'm not going to be in a
but wait. The whole time you're talking, you didn't say it's Dwayne Johnson's. You've said The Rock, The Rock, The Rock,
I
The
definitely
Rock,
thought
The
you
Rock.
said the whole time we were talking, we weren't recording.
No,
Yeah.
you've said The Rock, The Rock, The Rock, The Rock.
Right.
Proving that he is who he is because he was The Rock.
that's
You
his
haven't
norm.
said, that's like me calling Ludacris by his name. When he's in a movie, who do you call him?
Chris.
Ludacris.
Ludacris. I don't know what his name is.
Ludacris.
What's his name?
No, The
Chris?
Rock,
The Rock
to me. No. The
is
Rock,
The Rock.
to me is The Rock.
But he's
But
to
The Rock's
everybody.
a fucking Frank
no,
or
the-
somebody
Is
else. just
The
watching
Rock.
doesn't-
Rock to us is
Frank,
The Rock.
is he The Rock?
Yeah, but The Rock to some kids might be Dwayne Johnson.
He's never Dwayne Johnson, bro.
No, I get
Let me
what
ask you a
I get
question.
what you're saying.
Do you think a 15-year-old kid doesn't think he's Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah.
Not after the recent WrestleMania he was in.
They
Are you
didn't
kidding
get
me?
to watch wrestling when they were kids.
That's not
You see.
pro wrestling rock to them
He
anymore.
hasn't been wrestling since that kid's been alive.
But
The
without
Rock hasn't been
wrestling,
The Rock
he wouldn't have
since
this acting.
2002.
His acting chops weren't good enough, i.e., Scorpion King, to make it in
He got
acting.
a lot better,
Right.
no question about it. But
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that
He
The
did
Rock
get better,
was
I'll
the
give
pro
him that.
wrestling rock in 2002.
Right.
Maybe 2005
Right,
when he
right.
came back with Mankind that
Right.
one
My
time.
point is, without wrestling, he wouldn't have been an actor.
Saka.
No, I agree. But I don't think that today's kids think of him as The Rock
Oh,
from the
they're not old
WWE.
enough 'cause they didn't
He's
see him-
Dwayne
they didn't
Johnson.
see him wrestle
He's
while they were
Dwayne
kids.
Johnson, the guy from Escape to Witch Mountain. He's the
But
Dwayne
can
Johnson, the
you-
guy from the Tooth Fairy.
but you know
They
what?
don't know of him as The Rock.
Yeah,
You
but
think-
my initial point is he would have never had that without the WWF.
Maybe. You
He
might-
would not have those opportunities without the
yeah.
WWE,
You-
for
I-
sure.
I agree with you on that point. I
Yeah, for
agree.
sure.
Yeah.
But Hogan had the same opportunities, and he made Suburban Commando and everything else.
Yeah, but we're not
What was that?
putting
No
him.
Holds Barred?
We're
That
not
was-
putting we're not putting him in the same light of like a Schwarzenegger,
Zeus.
who because of his horrible acting, but because of his movies, it was like, oh my god, action hero. When The Rock first did The Rundown, I went, oh boy, if he keeps doing this, he is the next Schwarzenegger. And everybody said that back then. He'll be the next Schwarzenegger, and he became this fucking ginormous movie star. Right. After the Fast and the Furious, where does he go?
Who?
The Rock.
He goes to all these
They're
other fucking.
gonna make
he
more
goes to-
Fast and Furious.
First of
Kevin
all,
Hart.
But
no,
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 after.
no.
After.
Hold on, I'll answer this. He just got a multi-million-dollar deal to star in the DC movies. He'll be Black Adam. His first appearance
That'll
will be in
tank.
probably the Superman sequel, and then he's going to be in the next Justice
That
League
will
movie.
tank.
And no, it won't. How much you want to bet? I'll bet you right now in front of this camera.
Black
whenever
Adam will tank.
2020, whatever it is, when Black Adam comes out, I'll bet you money. However much you want to bet.
All right, so
The Rock is
all right,
incapable of making.
we'll
Isn't
do
he
it
the
right now. We'll do it right now.
highest
We'll do it
paid
right now.
actor in
We'll do it
Hollywood?
right now.
Here's what's gonna happen.
We'll do it right now.
The first thing he's gonna appear in the next Superman movie as Black Adam.
We're gonna do it right now.
No. This next Suicide Squad movie. Next Suicide Squad movie.
Suicide Spoomy.
Suicide Spoomy. The next Suicide Squad movie.
Yo, he's done.
He'll be.
He's
No,
baked.
I'm really not. It's a tongue twister. He'll be in the next Suicide Squad movie
There you
as
go.
the villain.
Yeah.
And they're already filming the next Shazam movie, which is the dude from.
I didn't know that. They're
Wow.
filming
What's
another
his
shit.
name?
Gay.
Not The
Stupid
Office.
shit.
The other
Really
guy.
stupid shit.
Oh, yeah,
Chuck.
to take out Jake.
Oh,
The
Uh,
main character
Parks
from
and
Chuck.
Recreation?
No. The main
Stupid
character
shit.
from Chuck. That guy. Whatever who it is.
Oh, yeah.
They already
Larry-
announced the kid. They casted the
I don't know.
kid. Do you know who Shazam is?
Yeah, horrible superhero.
Shazam's an 11-year-old kid who says the word Shazam and he turns into like a 25-year-old superhero. The superhero, even though he doesn't have a muscle in his body, is the kid from with the blonde girl, Yvonne something or other. They were on NBC. Chuck. The guy from Chuck is Shazam. Shazam's obviously his second biggest enemy is Black Adam.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. This shows you a little bit of the influence that Rock has. Rock wants to play Black Adam as an anti-hero, so not a pure villain. So instead of making Black Adam the enemy of the Shazam movie, he has some other enemy, and The Rock is going to film Shazam as a movie where like Shazam is misunderstood, and he ends up as kind of an enemy, but whatever.
Wow. That's a lot of
But they
influence.
think he may show up in the Suicide Squad 2 movie. So there's no chance that the Rock movie's going to fail. Here's why.
I want to make your bet.
Because okay.
I hate to fucking do this. Everybody who knows me personally knows I hate to do this on this dude in particular. There's a movie in the works right now with, the guy that I'm really not a fan of actor-wise. but-
Eminem.
No, actor-wise.
That's
Gambit.
music-wise.
Gambit.
Huh?
Right? You guys familiar, Gambit.
Channing Tatum.
It's in the works.
I don't think it's gonna. I know. I don't think that's
you mean
gonna.
I say it's
You mean yourself?
bigger,
the only thing
blockbuster than The
No.
Rock's movie. Black Adam.
No chance. Let me preface this. I don't know how much people know this, but
That's my bet.
Fox right now, because they're trying to concentrate on sports and media, Fox right now is in negotiations with Marvel to sell their entertainment movie side to Marvel. If they do that, then I disagree. Then Gambit's going to be a gigantic movie because
I say Gambit's bigger either way. That's my bet. So okay, wait, what are we wagering? I'd like to make a suggestion.
Well, hang on. What are we talking about? First of all, we're talking about Gambit versus Suicide. Hold on. Let me.
No, not Suicide
Hold
Squad.
on. Gambit versus Suicide Squad 2, which has Black Adam as the villain, or Gambit versus the
standalone movie Black Adam.
The Black Adam. No chance.
I say Gambit's bigger.
Because
and here's what we'll wager.
Okay.
If you're okay with it.
Yep.
I will bring a special bad beer that the loser of this bet drinks by themselves on an episode. The whole beer.
That's fine.
There's only 2 people involved.
Shake on this.
We're out of it.
Buddy, the problem is that we're 2 to 3 years away though.
Doesn't matter. We will get there. And I say Channing Tatum's Gambit's bigger than The Rock's Black Adam.
We'll still be making
I
plenty of
disagree.
episodes in 3 years.
And I like
from now.
Channing Tatum and I love Gambit, but I don't think the only way that's true.
He won't do Gambit well, though he does love that character.
No, I think he will. It's going to be like Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds loved Deadpool so much that it turned into like an amazing film. I think it's going to be the same thing. Because Channing Tatum, no matter how many directors it went through, no matter how many, Channing Tatum, I'm in, because he loves the character.
But he's an awful actor.
Yeah, he's not great, but you know.
But Ryan Reynolds is a good actor.
All the women warm up for him. So.
That caught me off guard, though. I didn't think Ryan Reynolds would be that good in Deadpool. I really didn't.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
He was,
That was
really
phenomenal.
I mean,
So
really one of the better.
And the pictures of Josh Brolin as Cable in the new one. Oh, it's so
Dude,
good.
that's gonna be
So
nuts, dude. Are they bringing Wolverine into this new one? Because they were supposed to, right? There was rumors.
You know what's
of...
gonna be funny though is if Fox sells to Disney. Hugh Jackman already said, I'll come back from Wolverine for one Avengers.
Nah,
because they'll put him in the Avengers.
Exactly.
as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would love that.
Fox is trying to sell the entertainment portion
What's
to
the struggle?
DC. Well, money.
Money.
They already left it. They left the negotiating table, so whatever. But I read something that said that they're still kind of talking a little bit.
I don't.
And if Fox sells the portion they need to sell to DC or to Marvel, that means the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, all them are all going to be DC characters.
Right.
So now, theoretically, in the next Avengers movie, if you wanted to, you could have all the X-Men show up.
Yeah.
You could have all the Fantastic Four show up. You could have all Doctor Doom show up.
I
you
wanted
know,
the X-Men from
Galactus.
my childhood, the cartoon.
Yeah, well, you're never going to get that.
I wanted Rogue to be Rogue from the cartoon. I wanted Mon Ami, Gambit to be
Mon Ami?
Gambit.
You don't
I
like Anna
wanted-
Paquin?
Yeah.
I wanted even Nightcrawler to be a little better. I really wanted Colossus, my favorite character from the is
Colossus
and
got
Gambit.
fucked up in both films.
What
Colossus
do,
is such
dude?
a good character, and he got fucked up in
He
both
is.
films.
He is.
Has anybody watched Thor Ragnarok ahead of time?
I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're going tomorrow?
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
You want to come? No, you want to come?
to?
Hey, we're going at like 12:30 in
You're
Rockaway.
not-
You
you're
wanna
not
come?
watching
Seriously.
the- you're
Look
not
at me.
gonna-
Look at me. Seriously, you want to come?
Look at
12:30.
it. I heard it was the best movie
That's
ever.
what I heard too.
Ever.
It's the best
Superhero
rated
movie.
Marvel movie.
You
Right
don't
now.
want to watch the Giants go 1-8? I mean,
Fuck about the Giants.
You mean
I mean,
0-9?
Hey, you're right.
Zinger!
You're
It's
right.
time. It's not a zing. It's time. It's time. I'm begging the Giants to draft a quarterback for real. Trade Eli, get a running back, and it's just time.
How about my Niners getting Garoppolo?
That's a
Hey,
big
don't
move.
the,
That was
the
a big
Giants
move.
play
Yeah,
the quarter?
that's a big
How about Niners getting Garoppolo?
The Giants play the 49ers this week, right?
But I'm only happy if we sit him the whole
You
year.
know what they need is pieces around them would help.
Well, you want them to lose. So
I want him to
Yeah,
sit him
that
the whole
makes sense.
year, lose out, and draft well.
Yeah. Well,
good?
they're not, that's
But you know what Lynch does? Is so far Lynch has proved that he's smart football mind and he drafts well.
How about my Jets about to go to a 500 on
Stop
the year?
it.
Are you kidding me?
No,
They're gonna
no,
go-
you gotta
you know they're
let,
gonna
let
be
him
Tampa
let
Bay?
him breathe.
Come
Let him
on,
breathe on his
come on.
Jets because they far
Seriously.
exceeded expectations. I thought they'd tank this year.
Even I said 2 wins. That's it. They're going to go 5-5 tomorrow. I'm
Well,
telling you right
that's what just fans do anyway. So
We got 6
Nah,
they
minutes.
quit anything.
oh, good.
I thought the Jets were tanking this year on purpose.
go.
They blew my mind.
now. What a weird year. I mean,
No, for real.
I was mad when they started winning,
I
and
can't talk about this.
they're a game out of the playoffs. I mean, give me a break.
A game
A
away.
game out right now, the 6th spot. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, they're gonna be great. They're gonna miss the playoffs, and you're gonna get
Oh,
like a
no
like
And
man.
they have the worst
You're gonna
fucking
get
draft pick ever.
Yeah, you're right.
What round was
no
You're
man's
gonna get like
land
a
is
25th
8-8.
What
pick in the
round-
draft.
8-8 is the worst
What
place
round?
you can be.
What
You're
round was
right.
Brady drafted in?
Like the last round.
So it does
Seventh
happen.
round. Not with the Jets. The Jets have like
He said the
cur-
Jets.
They're cursed.
Now,
They're
okay.
cursed. They passed on Dan
Real
Marino.
quick,
They
does
passed on
Zeke
Dan
serve his
Marino.
full 6?
Yeah.
I say it goes
Yeah.
4.
Yep, it went too many.
I say it goes
appeals.
4.
Too many
Oh,
appeals.
how's that?
We still go 3-3
He's going 6. He's going 6.
Without him?
without them 3-3.
Yeah, I'll give
We
you
agree
that.
the
I'll give
Eagles
you that.
win the NFC East, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Eagles win the Super Bowl.
We get the wild card and then
Here's
beat off.
here's a scary team right now.
Who
is
beats the
LA
Eagles?
There's only one team.
the
coming
LA
out of the NFC
Rams.
East. Do we agree? It's the Eagles. The
Who
Cowboys
beats
are not
the
going to
Eagles?
playoffs.
How about
Do we
the
agree or no?
No, Cowboys
You're a
might
Cowboys
make
fan,
playoffs.
so you have to argue that.
They
but I
might
think-
make
wild card.
playoffs.
Wild card?
They might make wild
Who's
card.
better?
What do you-
Packers are done. They fucked
Packers
that
are,
up.
no. What do you?
Packers
no.
are done.
Carolina
What do you-
Falcons?
What do you guys think
You
about
have faith
that?
in Ryan?
What do you
No,
guys think
Falcons
about
are
Fuck
fucking
outta here.
playing
Hey.
awful right now.
You can't.
Yeah, you know
you
what?
can't. You can't take the Dallas Cowboys out of the talk right there.
What do
No,
you
you're
guys
right.
think
I
about?
was thinking the Packers, but you're right.
What do you guys think about the LA
Packers
Rams?
or Falcons? No.
How about the Rams?
The Rams
right
are as
now?
much of a
The
sneak
Rams
team
are
as the
dangerous.
Raiders.
They're a dangerous team right now. LA Rams.
They are playing really well
NFC
ball.
North is.
Minnesota.
I mean, who wins?
Minnesota.
You think Minnesota?
Oh yeah, no question.
No,
No
I doubt
question.
that.
Who's going to take them out? Detroit. Detroit's 4-4.
Speaking of Minnesota,
Green Bay's
that's
done.
true, too,
Green
though.
Bay's
Adrian
done.
Peterson at the Cardinals.
Oh, stop.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
the move.
I
Yeah,
like it, man. Listen,
I hated
Look
him
how
with the
happy
Saints.
he is,
hate
bro.
him with the
I hated him
Saints.
with the Saints
They didn't
because
fucking
they don't
use
have
him.
a team
So
that uses
happy.
him how he should be
They didn't
used.
utilize him at
All right,
all.
here-
You know why I like him with the Cardinals? Because now I can play with him in Madden online
This motherfucker.
and do some work.
You know who
do some
season
work.
You know who season's done is Seattle
The
Seahawks.
Jets.
Sherman's done for the year.
They're not
Sherman.
done because of
They're
Sherman. He
done.
doesn't
They're
make that
done.
team.
They're done.
He doesn't make that team.
They're done because they're soft.
Sherman hasn't been
That's
Sherman in the
really-
past 3 years.
They're done
All right,
because
so
their
we do
coach
this every
sucks
2 to
dick.
3 weeks. What's your updated Super Bowl pool?
Eagles win it
fucking
all.
Dallas after the 3-3.
Oh my God!
And finish the season
Dallas-
Frank,
strong.
Dallas
Frank.
and who?
I still think the Patriots will win the whole thing.
Frank, give me
I think
one
it'll be-
serious prediction
Okay.
without mentioning Dallas Cowboys because you love them. Who wins Super Bowl?
That team out of Texas.
Okay.
The
I can
Titans?
see
What's
I
yours?
can Dallas,
What's yours? What's yours?
the top 5 rappers of all time.
Yo.
Eminem, Marshall Mathers,
And Troy Aikman.
B
Real-
Rabbit,
Real talk though.
the white dude from D12.
Real talk though. Super Bowl winners this year. Come on, dude. They got Jay Ajayi.
think
They're
I
making
think-
moves. They're smart enough to know that it's now or nothing.
Wow.
The Eagles win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
Eagles,
I think the Super Bowl is the Eagles and the Patriots win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we've seen that Super Bowl before, and I can't rule that. I would say the same. Actually, I agree with that. Eagles, Patriots.
Frank-
I'm gonna go Eagles win it though. Eagles.
Say Cowboys, and I'm gonna throw a treehouse glass at you.
I'm not gonna do that because I don't want no fucking beer in my hat. You know what I'm saying? But I will say the Dallas Cowboys.
Fucking this dude, this fucking guy, yo.
Will
Cover it. You pour it on my shirt.
No, I told him, I go, don't say Cowboy. He goes, I won't say it, but I will say the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm begging somebody to help Frank.
they will get past this Ezekiel issue, and we will.
Oh, please.
What's your NFC championship?
No, all right,
Frank?
all right. Speaking of the Ezekiel issue, how the fuck did he honestly get suspended? The people that
I
the
still-
NFL
listen,
put in
I
charge
don't
of
give a
fucking
fuck.
the investigation said
It's
he doesn't
bullshit.
deserve to be suspended.
Why? Because Ray Rice. Because all these other guys.
Doesn't
ahead of him
matter.
did
Who's
same
the king
shit.
of petty?
That's why.
Okay, but in the court of law, if he gets
I understand.
thrown out,
Yo,
how's the NFL supersede the
how
fucking
petty-
court of
Because
law?
Goodell-
How petty is the is the Dallas Cowboys owner?
How does the NFL
I'll sue the
supersede?
NFL if he
Because
gets an
Goodell-
extension.
Goodell doesn't follow the
Fuck
rules.
Goodell.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yo,
That's
fuck
why.
Goodell.
Goodell.
Fuck Goodell.
I hate
done with
I hate
Goodell.
Roger Goodell. I mean, I hope he's out. I can't take him.
Fuck
anymore.
Goodell.
Fuck him. All right, this was fun.
Fuck
As
you,
always,
Roger
it was
Goodell.
good. It's a good time. Good
Wait,
time.
y'all finished?
Fuck yeah, man! What the fuck you waiting for?
I hate you, you red-haired bastard.
Listen,
Chris, as always, finish your beer. Don't be an improper fuck. Well, we're gonna get out of here.
Why did you spill on my
that
shirt
was
like
fun.
Out
I'm gonna have to put a beer or two away for a little bit of an after show.
of here, baby.
See how we do. Jay's good with the Instagram.
Yo. Ding. Follow us on Instagram, and you will see that we're gonna make it happen. As I'm running for office, I'll make a vow right now to the people. He will have an Instagram shortly.
You might want to learn to put words together first.
Anyway,
Chris will have an Instagram shortly. We all have one. He's got to get one. He's got to get
I
one.
will. I'm not a high school girl. but
forget
I'll
that
get
for a
one soon.
second. So follow us on every social media account. WGOB
Dash
TV
TV.
on YouTube.
Any nudes you get, email Chris.
Yeah, Twitter. For some reason, you
Or is
can't leave with
JP
Gorillas, so we're
lying,
the
Judy?
at Booze Gorillas on Twitter. The Gorillas of
No.
Booze on Facebook. Gorillas of Booze on
Gorillas of
Instagram.
Slosh Talk has been fun.
Follow us on
I am
YouTube. I'm
enjoying
Doug GOB on YouTube. Or YouTube. Jesus Christ. Untapped. Doug GOB on Untapped.
YouTube.
Platinum for life.
Muff
Apparently
on
I've been
Instagram.
No,
Frank the
Untapped.
Tank on
It's
Untapped.
Muff Divers on
And that's it.
Untapped.
Untapped, sorry.
It's Jason A. Ruger
That's it.
on Untapped or Jason G Music, whatever the fuck. Jason G Music on Instagram, Jason G Music on YouTube.
It's
Then
a
we're gonna
book.
get this dude right here to have an Instagram. Slosh Talk.
Slosh Talk's in the house. Another one in the
Peace.
Bucks. Baby, you out?
We out.
Peace.
Cut it.
Prestige.
Prestige.
Peace.
Cut it.
And we out.